guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna bring you along on my journey of building the fastest home-built 992 Turbo S ever, independently, no shop. So keep watching, and thanks for all the support. Let's get into some cinematics. We're going to be installing some catalytic converters on a 992 Turbo S. These are the tools you need. We have here a 13 millimeter socket, 12 millimeter Torx, 6 millimeter Allen, 22 millimeter O2 sensor socket, a ratchet extension, and I'm going to be using this digital torque wrench. All right. I also have this power tool here, so we could quickly take off the bolts once they're loosened. All right, so let's get these installed on the 992 Turbo S. All right, so here is underneath the car. We have this flange here that bolts to the muffler. We're gonna remove these two bolts here, 13 millimeter. We got these E12 Torx here that we're gonna remove, two of them. The 6 millimeter Allen bolt here that we're gonna loosen. All right, so here's the O2 sensor. I have the O2 sensor socket on the O2 sensor, 22 millimeter. Got the ratchet. And I just kind of use this from my jack here. I use this to leverage in here. I put it on the handle, and I was able to leverage it to kind of pull the O2 sensor. But just be careful. You want to be gentle, because once it loosens a little bit, you're good enough to just hand loosen. So now that we have it loosened, I'm going to continue. I'm going to take off the socket and then loosen it by hand. And then I could continue removing the bolts for the exhaust. This is how it looks once the O2 sensor is up. You just hand loosen it. Then you have it there. Just be careful, it's very delicate. You don't want the tip to touch anything. Then now we could loosen the 6 millimeter Allen here. Then we could loosen the V-band clamps, those 13 millimeter nuts. And then we could loosen these E12. Let's loosen these E12. Here's a 6 millimeter Allen. We're gonna loosen that. That's the V-band that connects the cat to the turbo. So let's loosen this. Okay. Now that we have it off, just be careful when you loosen the V-band, because everything else is loose. So the exhaust will fall down. So I'm gonna turn the camera off, and so I could have my two hands to use. This is the OEM cat here on the left. The Sport Cat. It's 100 cell, so it's 200 cells in total, 100 cell in each cat. So you could clearly see the difference, right? This is more dense, and then here is much less. So the flow is going to be much better on the performance cat. All right, so let's get these installed. All right, now that I have the cat back in, I haven't bolted anything up. I just put the V-band here to hold it in. But before I did that, it was kind of hard to get the V-band on in terms of getting it settled properly or seated properly. So what I did temporarily, just put the V-band clamp here to hold this in place, so then I could put this V-band clamp in place. So we haven't put the bolts in yet, so I'm just going to temporarily put this bolt in here. There. I won't tighten. I'm going to do the same thing. It came with some nuts and bolts here, so I'm going to get the nuts and bolts for here, and then I'll temporarily put these in. Once again, not going to tighten, just putting in everything finger tight for now, and then we could use the tools to torque them down. This is the hardware that comes with the cats. So instead of the E12 Torx, we're going to be using this bolt with a washer. It has a washer here. Just make sure you don't forget to put it on. And then this washer will go here once you put the nut on. So let's get these on. Also, it has these washers, 2 copper washers. It goes right on the new cat. It goes right there between the O2 sensor and the cat. So we'll install those as well. All right, once again, we're now putting in the E12. So we're going to put the new bolt and washer that came with the cat. Put that in like that. Put the washer here. And then the nut. Get this nut on. So the clamp here, I'm going to leave so I can see the gap, the space in here between the muffler and the cat. I'm going to tighten the 6mm bolt here. Then from there, I'll come back to the clamp here by the muffler and tighten those up. Same process on the other side. I remove the O2 sensor. Now I'm going to remove these 13mm bolts. All right, this is the other side, the 6mm Allen. So let's loosen that. All right, E12 Torx, let's remove those. Now we got both removed. The V-band by the cat and also by the exhaust, by the muffler. Everything is loosened. So we're gonna take the V-band off, release the V-band off the turbo, and that will drop down the cat. This is how the OEM cat on the other side looks when it's removed. You can see down in the hole here. This is the new one here. Like I showed you before on the other one, it's very free-flowing, so you should hear a lot more turbo noises and get a little bit more horsepower out of it. Let's take the clamp off here. Put it on here. And let's put this on the car. This is how the turbo looks. Inside, on the exhaust side, there's another O2 sensor right in the turbo there. All right, let's get the new cat on. All right, now I have the 6mm in. It's not tightened, as you can see. And then now I'm going to put these in, the 13mm here. Put the bolts in and the nuts. And we'll tighten these slightly. All right, Same thing on this side. We're not going to use the E12 bolts. We're using the bolt and the washer on this side, the washer on this side, and then the nut. All right, let's get these installed. One quick tip with these V-band clamps, there is a little bump here and a hole, so just make sure when you rotate these clamps, it actually sits back. The hole sits over the hump on each side. And here are the bolts. All right, the cats are all in on both sides. Both two sensors are in on both sides. So for now, I'm gonna run the stock exhaust for now. All right, guys, first startup with the Sport Cats. This should sound amazing. I do have the electronic valve control as well for the exhaust flaps. So we're gonna open it up as well. Wow, this sounds really good. The exhaust flaps are closed, but we're gonna open up the exhaust flaps to get a little bit more turbo whistle sound. Wow, it's not too loud either with the exhaust valve closed. This is really good. I like the setup where it's not obnoxiously loud on the full start, so it's a perfect balance. All right, let's open up the exhaust valves and let's see how it sounds. I can't wait. Wow, this sounds so amazing. This is how the car should have sounded from factory. Idle came down because the car is warmed up a little bit. This is actually not too loud. It's not bad at all. The exhaust valves open and idle, you get a little bit more sound out of it. I'm going to take it out of the garage, give you guys some revs, and let's hear these turbos whistle. Wow, this sounds amazing. Valves closed, there's no way to tell it has Sport Cats in there. Now this car sounds like a 911 turbo. Let's bring it back in the garage, double check everything, and let's bring it on the road for a quick drive. Wow, this car sounds so good now. Put in the comments what you guys think about the Sport OEM muffler. Should I change it or should I keep it? Just listen to the sound of those turbos. It sounds amazing. Alright, it's the next day, but we're going to bring it on the road now today. One thing I love about turbo cars is the turbo noises. instantly, I feel a difference in the response of the turbo key. Also, now the car sounds really good. This is how Porsche should have sent it from the factory. I'm gonna drive around. I'm not gonna do too much talking so you guys could experience the sounds. Car feels so much more alive now that it's breathing more freely. Car is a dream to drive. It's great on the straight lines and great around the corners. I'll continue making enhancements to this car to make it better, make it to JB spec standards. All my cars, I always enhance them, make them better. So I'll bring you along on the journey. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, please like, please share, comment as well. Let me know what you'd like to see. And thanks for watching.